My wife is in love with someone else, someone who's gone. I know the living can never compare to the dead, especially when her lover's death had something to do with me. I married her, gave her financial security, and never once crossed a line. On her birthday this year, I gave her a gift like always, and she teared up. After all this time, what does she have that I don't? Her father passed away early. Some old-timers in the company saw her as rudderless and constantly made things difficult for her. Her mother was an old friend of my parents. They couldn't bear to see their friend's family fall into such hard times, so they arranged for me to marry her. With someone to lean on, things might get better. Luke Dawson, Jennifer Delaney. We met once before our engagement. After exchanging names, the room fell quiet again. On our wedding night, I stood on the balcony watching her sleep. I lit cigarette after cigarette, without realizing. Knowing my wife loved someone else was something no one could easily accept, let alone me, someone whose heart raced uncontrollably just at the sight of her. That's why I agreed to marry her the moment my parents suggested it. But the darker the night, the brighter the moon. And I knew the living can never compare to the dead, especially when I had a hand in that death. The morning after the wedding, I dropped her off outside her company. As I reached to unbuckle my seatbelt to follow her, she stopped me with a calm, "Thanks, but that won't be necessary." She's proud. Even though our marriage was meant to give the Delaney family some backing, she never let herself lean on me. After that, she turned down every offer I made to have her attend important events as Mrs. Dawson. One night, I came home drunk. She helped me inside, poured me a glass of honey water, and even took a small sip herself to check the temperature before handing it to me. My mind was a mess. Before reason could catch up, instinct took over. I gently held the back of her neck and kissed her, just for a second. The alcohol evaporated from my brain in an instant. My mind went blank. She, however, acted as if nothing had happened, handed me the glass and said, "It's just right." After I showered, I quietly lifted the blanket and lay beside her. I could tell she was still awake. We stared at each other for a long time. I'm sorry, I hadn't even finished my sentence when I saw her eyes turn red under the dim light. Mine burned like ants crawling under the skin. I wanted to wipe the tears off her cheek, but my hand stopped midair. She sniffled, turned away. A long while later, she whispered, "Luke, we're husband and wife." Yes, that's all we are. To her, I'm probably nothing but a source of resentment. The next day, I asked my assistant to find me another place to stay. I didn't want to lose control while sober. I was afraid I'd make things worse, make her hate me more. "What are you doing?" That was the first thing she'd said to me in days since that night. I chuckled awkwardly, staring at the suitcase in my hand and rubbing the tip of my nose. "I didn't want to disturb you. You're doing this because..." She cut herself off, waved me away, and sat down on the couch, refusing to look at me again. Even though we didn't live together, the housekeeper still updated me every day. "Miss Jennifer didn't eat much today. Was it something I cooked?" She ate okay today. Miss Jennifer brought a man home today. She had a good appetite today. Seems like she's in a good mood. My attention zeroed in on that one line, "brought a man home." My finger hovered over her profile photo for a long time before I looked away and called the housekeeper. "Has the man left yet?" "No, still in the study." "Can you go check what they're doing?" The housekeeper stammered. "Maybe you should come back yourself." It's not really my place to step in. I was supposed to attend a project briefing that afternoon, but my mind was full of, "Jennifer, man, good mood. Still there. Postpone the meeting. I'm heading home." When I got back, they were just stepping out of the study. Jennifer's face was lit with a smile I'd never seen before. The man, I knew him. He was the son of a shareholder in the Delaney business. "Luke?" Tony saw me and gave a smug smirk. He scoffed, clearly showing off. "Sis-in-law came to me for a loan. Can you believe that? Not asking her husband, but me." Tony's words were clearly aimed at embarrassing both of us. Jennifer's smile froze. That's when I realized maybe she hadn't been happy after all. "I made her mad recently. She's just giving me a hard time," I said, stepping forward and pulling her into my arms. "Okay, babe, I was wrong. Don't let an outsider get between us." With my arm around her shoulders, I led her toward the living room and gave the housekeeper a subtle nod. Please show our guest out. As the door closed behind him, Jennifer pulled away and ran upstairs, quietly sobbing. I pressed my lips together and followed her. She tried to slam the bedroom door in my face, but I caught the frame just in time. Jennifer, don't do this! You came here just to watch me fall apart, didn't you? Her eyes shimmered with tears clinging to her cheeks, and it broke my heart. No, you can talk to me. Jennifer burst into tears. Then why do you think I didn't? I stood frozen. She would rather confide in Tony than her own husband. She didn't want to share her pain with me. I wasn't even worth that. Why should I talk to a husband who feels like a stranger? Isn't being abandoned by my own husband humiliating enough? I swallowed the bitterness rising in my throat, frowning as I looked at her. Please, just tell me what's going on. The only reply I got was the loud slam of the door. I asked the housekeeper to bring her dinner. It wasn't until she told me, Miss Jennifer is asleep, that I finally relaxed. I tiptoed into the room, sat at the edge of the bed, and gently wiped the dried tears from her cheeks. I sat there watching her for a long time. Long enough that my eyes began to sting. All I could see was her shouting at me with tears streaming down her face. I'd moved out because I was afraid I might lose control again, but I hadn't realized how that would make her feel abandoned. That was my mistake. So just a few days later, I moved back in. But she started deliberately avoiding me, ignoring my presence. Sir, you may be her sponsor, but honestly, you should try to cheer her up. Cheer her up? I sat in the conference room, distracted throughout the briefing. Eventually, I picked up my phone and searched, "How to make your wife happy." Say sorry first. Those 4 bold words jumped out at me. I tilted my chin at my assistant, signaling him to handle the next meeting. I was in high spirits, bought a fresh bouquet, and rehearsed my words in my head like I was about to pitch a proposal to a top client. I was more nervous than ever. But when I got home and opened the door, I was greeted by unexpected visitors, my parents. The romantic scene I had planned went up in smoke. All that remained was dealing with their relentless baby-making campaign. While the housekeeper was cooking, I quietly pulled my mom aside. We don't even have feelings for each other yet. Are you trying to sabotage me? My mom gave me a long, scrutinizing look. You really are useless. Married for months and still haven't sealed the deal? I shot my sharp-tongued mother a resentful glance. As they were leaving, my parents whispered a reminder. Why do you think we wanted you to marry Jennifer? Get your act together. Don't let her suffer. Make the name Mrs. Dawson mean something. Later, at a corporate event, I ignored Jennifer's refusal and casually wrapped my arm around her waist, introducing her to everyone. This is my wife, Jennifer. I knew she didn't want my help, didn't want to owe me anything, and she definitely had the capability to handle things herself. But I married her. I can't let her be mistreated. Shareholders were threatening to dump stock just to scare the young woman who parachuted into the boardroom. That's why she was desperate enough to ask Tony for money. She feared that if those shares were sold, the company her father built from the ground up would end up in someone else's hands. So tonight, I made sure to show up in front of the Delaney Company shareholders, smiling politely. Jennifer mentions you often. I'd love to visit sometime if you're free. Oh, don't tease me like that, they said with strained smiles. They got my meaning, and the smiles looked more awkward than amused. I'd been handling business since I came of age. My results spoke for themselves. Even if they didn't fear me, they'd think twice about crossing the Dawson family. Once my point was made, I lost interest in small talk. I draped my jacket over Jennifer's shoulders and asked carefully, Hungry? Want to grab a bite? For the first time in a while, I caught a faint smile on her face. Unlike that other day, this time the smile looked real. Her eyes sparkled as she looked up at me, lips curled into a soft grin. What are we eating? For a moment, I was caught completely off guard like I'd just been handed a miracle. We didn't go to any fancy restaurant. Instead, we followed the GPS to a night market over 10 kilometers away. Our clothes stood out in the casual crowd, but the place was lively and full of life. We didn't talk much, but I couldn't stop smiling. Her mouth was stuffed and she mumbled, We should have changed before coming. We drew a lot of attention walking around in our formal clothes. I leaned closer to hear her better. There's a vendor selling clothes. Want a change? She gave a slight shake of her head. I'm full. Let's just head home. We hurriedly packed up some snacks, still cooking, and made our way back to the parking lot. Once we were in the car, the enclosed space suddenly felt a little charged. My heart tickled with a strange tension. These will make your car smell. Do you mind? She asked, waving the bag of food. I don't mind at all. Snapping out of it, I started the engine. She sat quietly in the passenger seat the whole way, occasionally typing on her phone or gazing out at the nightlights. I finally broke the silence with a half joke. Jennifer, I've been a pretty lousy husband. Haven't even handed over my salary card. She didn't respond to that. Instead, she said, Jessica's coming back. Jessica was her best friend, who left the country after the accident. We were all survivors of that crash years ago. Jennifer's expression returned to its usual chill. I guess she was thinking about the one we lost. I pressed my lips into a tight line and gave a quiet, I see. When we got home, we walked up to the door side by side, but we both understood the drill. I didn't take off my shoes. Her gaze flicked over me. Thanks for tonight. Before she could finish, my phone rang. No caller ID. I silenced it and ignored it. Were you going to? My phone rang again, same number. I sighed, mouthed an apology, and stepped aside to take the call. A familiar voice came through. Luke, I heard you made quite the splash tonight. Didn't even have time to attend your old friend's welcome dinner, huh? Truthfully, Jessica and I weren't that close. We just lived through the same accident years ago. I chuckled politely. Another day works too. After a few pleasantries, I turned back and caught Jennifer frowning slightly, her eyes tinged with something like hurt. My heart ached again. Was she thinking about the past all over again? Jennifer. She cut me off, like trying to avoid something. I'm tired. I'm heading up. I shifted the topic. Jennifer, I never apologized for moving out. She turned to me and said flatly, whether you move out or live with someone else, I don't care. I'm the one holding you back. The words caught in my throat. Because of him, she hated me that much. I was sick with jealousy. Is that really what you think? She didn't answer, just slammed the bedroom door so hard it echoed. I stood at the entrance for a long time, feeling like a dog completely abandoned. Just hours ago, our relationship had finally thawed a little. Jessica had asked me out several times. Since she was Jennifer's friend, I couldn't keep turning her down without being rude. Jessica invited us for dinner, I texted Jennifer. I was a married man going alone to meet a single woman wasn't right. She only replied that evening. Did she invite you or both of us? We're married. If she invites me, she invites us, she replied instantly. I'm busy. My brows furrowed as I tried to figure out how things between us got so tense. While I was thinking of a polite way to decline Jessica, Jennifer messaged again. When do you get off work? I'm waiting for you in the restaurant parking lot, I replied. I'll pick you up. People talk if they see you waiting there. It wasn't until I started the car that she finally texted back. Okay. When I picked her up, I stretched out my arm and handed her a gift from the back seat. See if you like it. My buddies always said the key to winning over your wife was gifts. They may not be the most reliable guys, but judging by how many girlfriends they've had, I figured they might be onto something. I went to the mall and bought the latest designer handbag. Retail therapy solves everything, but when Jennifer saw it, there wasn't much joy in her eyes. Her response was flat. Thanks. We stayed silent all the way. As we entered the restaurant, she gave a soft cough and gently rested her hand on my arm. The moment she touched me, my heart raced, heat rushing to my neck and ears. You're right. I don't want people laughing at us, she said. I paused for a second, then slowly reached out and laced my fingers through hers. She didn't pull away. Our fingers intertwined. The motion lasted just seconds, but it felt like forever. I was so nervous I forgot to breathe. Even now, I was a little short of breath. When we reached the private room, we exchanged a look. She stepped forward to knock, and I followed behind. Once inside, I expected to see a room full of her friends. Instead, there was only Jessica. Her smile froze when she saw us, then quickly returned. Jennifer, oh my God, it's been forever. She studied her face. Not sleeping well? Your dark circles are terrible. I leaned over to look at Jennifer's face. There were no dark circles. Jennifer let out a shy laugh and gently nudged me until I sat down. Only then did I realize what she was doing. Embarrassment crept up my face. "Why so red, Luke?" Jessica teased. Jennifer leaned in too, peering at me. I had to avert my eyes and look down. Jessica joked at the wrong time. "What's wrong, Luke? Haven't seen me in so long you think I've gotten prettier?" I answered honestly. "The woman beside me smells amazing. It's driving me crazy." Jennifer smiled faintly and served me food lamb, my least favorite. Midway through the meal, Jennifer and Jessica chatted casually. "So no wedding ceremony? Is this like a fake marriage?" Jessica's gaze landed on our hands, her tone lighthearted, like a harmless joke. I followed her gaze. Our fingers were bare, no rings. Jennifer said nothing, kept her head down, and ate. "We used our parents' rings when we got married. Family heirlooms." Had to put them away after the ceremony. On the way home, I could sense she was in a bad mood. "Let's go pick out rings tomorrow?" She turned to look out the window. "No need." "Sorry, I forgot about the rings. We've been married almost a year. Shows how little we care." I mean, it's a fake marriage anyway. That's when it hit me. Maybe she'd cared about this all along. "If there's anything you're unhappy about, just say it." She suddenly turned toward me and stared. "Luke, did you invite me today just to let an old friend mock how miserable my marriage is? Why would I? If she wasn't your friend, why would I even agree to dinner?" We stood in a standoff in the parking lot. Her eyes filled with tears. She called me a liar and got out of the car. I sat there for a long time, smoke clouding my face. Suddenly, a thought struck me. I rushed home. If she was mad about these things, did that mean she cared? Did she care about this marriage? I stood outside for a long time in the wind, worried the smoke smell would bother her. But when I opened the door, I saw her packing. Panic seized me. I rushed over to grab the suitcase. "Jennifer, I can be a good husband." She gave me a sidelong glance. "It's a business trip." I froze for a few seconds, then chuckled awkwardly and pushed the suitcase back toward her. "It's so late." "It's urgent. I have to fly out tonight." But she never told me the trip would last 6 months. She was starting a new branch in another city. When I found out she'd be based there long term, I flew straight over and took her ring shopping. She kept saying she was busy, had no time to meet. But the moment the ring slipped onto her finger, her eyes lit up and a smile tugged at her lips. Over dinner, she asked, "I heard you nailed another tough project?" I smiled and shook my head. My team did a great job. Then I asked, "How's everything going on your end?" That opened the floodgates. She started talking nonstop about the company's operations and some ridiculous clients. Maybe it was the joy she found in her work, or maybe she just enjoyed being with me. I visited her sometimes for meals, shopping. We were like a couple in the early stages of dating. Over the past 6 months, I bought her all kinds of rings, thinking it would make her happy. I didn't expect her to grumble. Wedding rings are supposed to be worn together. With all these designs, are we collecting accessories or symbolizing marriage? I wasn't upset by her complaint. I actually thought it was adorable she was finally willing to complain to me. I chuckled softly through my nose. "Next time, let's pick one with real meaning together." There was an upcoming charity auction, and word was that one of the rings was truly stunning. And it just so happened to be in her city. When she came to pick me up at the airport, she looked gorgeous. Maybe it was because I hadn't seen her in so long. Jennifer waved at me with a bright smile. As she walked closer, she handed me a warm coffee. "Tired?" I shook my head, took a sip. It was sweet. After leaving the airport and getting in the car, her assistant handed us breakfast. I stared a little too long at the assistant. There was something familiar about her. Jennifer nudged my arm and grinned. "Luke, doesn't it suit your taste?" My eyes drifted to the ring sparkling on her finger. I didn't want to say anything that might drive a wedge between us. "Of course it does. When are you coming home?" "Mom and Dad miss you." Once things settled down a bit, I looked at her. Those dark circles under her eyes really were more obvious now. I took her hand, gave it a gentle squeeze. "Don't push yourself so hard." She didn't respond, but squeezed back. That evening, as we were getting ready at the hotel, something seemed off. Jennifer kept breaking into cold sweats, her lips pale. I knelt beside her, wiping the sweat from her forehead. "What's wrong? Are you not feeling well?" She was about to speak when her assistant placed a cup of tea beside her. "Jennifer, drink some. It'll help." The scent of brown sugar ginger tea filled my nose. I froze, stunned. Her assistant knew she was on her period, but I, her husband, didn't. Before the auction started, there was a casual mingling session. Jennifer, making her debut, wanted to meet people from all circles. I had the waiter swap her champagne for hot water. "Isn't that a bit much?" she said. I patted her shoulder reassuringly. "You're with me. It's fine." If my wife had to watch her every move, then what were these past few years of mine even worth? A faint smile played on her lips as she leaned her shoulder gently against me and nodded. When bidding on the ring she loved, another bidder was aggressively raising the price. "Luke, maybe let it go?" Jennifer tugged at my sleeve. "It's fine. The money goes to charity anyway." It was the first time she ever asked me for something. I had to go all in to win a smile from her. We won the bid. During the interview, our fingers were tightly intertwined, the ring sparkling on her hand. I've never given Jennifer anything good. I just want to give her something that shows my love. That was the first time I told Jennifer I loved her. After the event, I held her hand and gazed at the ring on her finger. She loved it so much because it used to be part of her mother's dowry. Back then, her mom had to pawn it to support her father's business, so this ring meant the world to her. "Thank you. Making my wife happy is what I'm supposed to do." I paused, then joked, "How are you going to thank me?" She smiled, eyes curving, lips pressed together. She quickly leaned over and pecked my cheek. Seeing the red tip of my ear, she teased, "Was that okay?" My heart raced, and I couldn't meet her eyes. Yeah. I wanted to stay longer to build our connection, but work was calling. And honestly, I couldn't stand that assistant of hers always hanging around with that innocent face, acting overly helpful. Good thing I had a secret weapon. Her birthday was coming up. I planned a romantic setup to confess properly. Feelings need time, but she also needed to know she meant something to me. On her birthday, I sent the gift like last year. I wanted to surprise her. I paid off that pretty boy to report Jennifer's schedule to me. In the evening, he said, Jennifer went home. I glanced at the venue I had meticulously prepared and decided to pick her up myself. At her door, I took a deep breath, nerves kicking in. But after knocking for ages, no one answered. I began to suspect I'd been tricked. Just as I was about to call, the door opened. Jennifer stood there, eyes red, looking like a heartbroken bunny. "What's wrong?" I asked. Her tears fell even harder. I quickly bent down to wipe her tears. "What happened?" She slapped my hand away and backed off. I followed, alarmed. She broke down. "We've been married so long. What do I lack compared to her? I've worked so hard to be worthy of you. Why can't you see me?" My mind went blank. Who is she talking about? I'm not. Don't cry, please. I reached out, but she recoiled again. Liar! She shoved her phone in my face. It was a post from Jessica. She'd shared a photo of the proposal setup I'd arranged today. My silhouette was visible in the background. You couldn't wait, huh? I was just deluding myself. Fine. I'll agree to a divorce. I'm the one standing in your way, aren't I? Realizing the misunderstanding, I scrambled to explain. That setup was for you. I don't even know Jessica that well. I've loved you for 5 years. Her tears paused midstream. She stared at me, stunned, unsure whether to believe me. 5 years ago, when my parents took me to visit your home, I already liked you. But then the accident happened. Your childhood friend died saving us. After that, I didn't dare say anything. Back then, the 4 of us had spent the day at an amusement park. When her childhood friend came to pick us up, a truck lost its brakes and came hurtling at us. He drove straight into its path to block it, shielding us from the impact. After that, I knew Jennifer would never forget him. I thought I had no chance. He wasn't my boyfriend. He was my best friend, like a brother. Now, it was my turn to be stunned. So the person I'd been jealous of for years was never even a rival. The surprise had fallen apart, but my feelings hadn't. I wanted her to see the place I'd prepared. My makeup's ruined. Will there be people? She asked from the passenger seat, touching up with her cushion compact. I smiled and shook my head. No one, just us. I had wanted witnesses, but feared she'd reject it or worse, feel pressured. So, she drawled, raising a brow, I knew what she wanted to ask. The light turned red and I stopped the car, turning to face her teary eyes. I don't like Jessica. I don't know how she found that place, but I've never contacted her. She pouted an unexpectedly cute expression. Okay, understood the man who's been secretly in love with me for 5 years. I burst out laughing and reached to pinch her cheek. She ducked away with a giggle. Green light! Green light! We reached the parking lot, and I couldn't wait to show her what I'd prepared. I grabbed her hand and practically ran. As we reached the door, a wave of floral fragrance met us. When we pushed the door open, the whole place lit up. The garden path sparkled like stardust. Did you rent an entire villa? She asked, stepping carefully inside. If you like it, it can be our home. She wanted to grow her career here. I could shift my work here too, be with her. Her eyes blinked wide in shock. Our home? She asked again. I nodded. Our home. That's when she smiled and walked in like she already belonged. I decorated every corner, but we barely noticed anymore. She wrapped her arms around my neck. I held her close, breath tangled together. In that new house, we had the wedding night we never had before. The next morning, she didn't want to get out of bed, curling into my arms. Do you want kids? I murmured, brushing her hair with my cheek. Only if you do. If you want, then I do. We stayed up until sunrise. Her eyes were red again, and I blamed myself for not being more restrained. Go to sleep, Jennifer. I held her face and fed her a little water. She frowned, eyes glued to her phone like she wasn't the same soft woman who had just clung to me. Sleep first. Work later, I told her. She ignored me and pulled my phone out from under the pillow. Curious, I leaned in to look with her. Both our phones showed Jessica's posts, but the content was completely different. Jennifer's feed was filled with posts linking me to Jessica. No wonder she thought I liked her. The post from today showed a large hand around Jessica's waist. On the man's wrist, a mole. I had one too. I was with you all night, I said softly. Then quickly added, and I've never been with her. This was a ridiculous misunderstanding. She's really your friend? Who goes after their best friend's husband? The answer was obvious. I took the phone from her, pulled her into bed. No rush. We'll deal with her another time. I gently patted her back. After confirming our love for each other, we started showing up everywhere as a couple. If I was there, so was she, and vice versa. We never went after Jessica, but she came for Jennifer. One day, when I went to pick Jennifer up, I saw a crowd outside her office. My heart sank. I jumped out of the car. Jennifer was surrounded by security, a red mark on her face. I rushed to her. Did she do this? Does it hurt? Luke! I'm the one who really loves you, can't you see? Jessica, being held back, broke free and charged at us. I shielded Jennifer behind me, glaring at the crazy woman in front of us. So she's pretty, so what? What's so great about her? I'm the one who loves you. I'm the one who truly loves you. Why does she get to stand by your side as your wife? Tell me, is this some fake marriage? Is it? I ignored her and turned to the security guard. Did someone call the cops? Right then, the police arrived. I stayed by Jennifer's side while she gave her statement. She wanted to settle it privately, not let years of friendship go to waste. But I had our lawyer submit screenshots of Jessica's posts to the police. She'd crossed the legal line. Jennifer was considerate, but I wasn't. I sued Jessica. Her lawyer submitted documentation proving she had mental health issues. She was sent to a psychiatric facility. When the results came out, Jennifer was visibly upset. She was fine before. Jessica had once been mentally sound. But after that incident, and being bullied abroad, her condition began to decline. Lying in my arms, Jennifer whispered, "Maybe she just saw you as her emotional anchor." I pulled her close, gently stroking the back of her head. Don't overthink it, Jennifer. That year, I went with her to visit her childhood friend's grave, the man who had saved our lives. Not long after, she found out she was pregnant. Was it him coming to find us? Jennifer asked, slightly choked up, tears clinging to her lashes. I kissed the corner of her lips and whispered, "Yeah, it's time we returned the favor."